When Kenneth Walsh joined the United States Marine Corps, nobody thought he'd become a fighter pilot. He hadn't gone to college. He didn't come from a wealthy family. He didn't show up with perfect manners or letters from powerful people. He was a mechanic. His hands were covered in oil. His job was to fix the planes of pilots who had gone to the best universities and training programs. In a military world that cared a lot about rank, background, and reputation, Walsh was basically invisible. Some even called him a grease monkey, and it definitely wasn't a compliment. Back in 1943, the air war in the Pacific was brutal. You didn't get second chances. One mistake could mean fire, water, or death. But on August 30th, 1943, Kenneth Walsh did something that broke every rule of survival. All alone, flying a damaged F-4U Corsair, he took on nearly 50 Japanese Zero fighters over the Solomon Islands. This is the incredible story of how a simple mechanic became one of the most skilled and deadly Corsair pilots of the entire war. The F-4U Corsair was not an easy plane to fly. It was incredibly powerful. Some even said it was overpowered. Its huge engine would twist the plane's frame violently during takeoff, and landing accidents were common. A lot of pilots actually hated it. But Walsh was different. He understood the Corsair. He had taken them apart and put them back together, piece by piece. He knew their weak spots. He knew exactly how much damage the frame could take before it would fall apart. For him, the Corsair wasn't unpredictable. It was honest. By the middle of 1943, Walsh had finally earned his wings and become a pilot. He didn't get there because of his status. He got there because he was so good that they just couldn't ignore him anymore. On August 30th, his squadron was given a mission to protect Allied bombers near an island called Vella La Vella. It was a very dangerous job. Japanese air power in the area was still strong and aggressive. But even before the fighting started, Walsh's Corsair was already having problems. Mechanical issues were slowing it down and reducing its performance. Any sensible pilot would have turned back. Walsh didn't. When the enemy fighters showed up, the situation went from bad to worse in an instant. Japanese Zeros swarmed the sky. More and more of them, coming in wave after wave. Walsh quickly saw how bad the situation was. He was outnumbered severely. Turning back would have been the logical thing to do. It would have been expected. But down below were the Allied bombers, slow, vulnerable, and completely relying on their fighter escort for protection. So, Walsh made a choice. Instead of running, he pushed his damaged Corsair forward, flying straight into the massive enemy formation. He used his altitude, his speed, and pure aggression. Walsh attacked before the Zero pilots had a chance to get organized. He would dive in, strike, climb back up, roll over, and strike again. The Corsair's tough frame took hits that would have ripped a lighter plane to shreds. He wasn't just guessing. He was using his mechanical knowledge under extreme pressure. He knew exactly how far he could push the engine. He knew how long the frame of the plane would hold together. He knew where it would start to fail and how to stop that from happening. One Zero went down, then another. The enemy pilots started to get nervous. Confusion spread through their ranks. What should have been an easy victory for them had turned into a desperate dogfight. Walsh kept attacking until his fuel and ammunition were almost gone, and he was forced to disengage. Against all odds, the bombers made it back safely, and so did he. The fight on August 30th, 1943, became a legend. Not just because it was a brave act, but because it showed something very rare in war. Incredible skill that came from deep understanding and courage that was born from a sense of duty. Kenneth Walsh would go on to become the very first Corsair ace in history. He didn't achieve this in spite of being a mechanic. He achieved it because he was one. He knew his machine better than anyone else in the sky. And in a war, that kind of knowledge can be more deadly than any family name or fancy education. This is why Kenneth Walsh mattered, and it's why his story still matters today. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more. We'll see you next time.